Please, Jasmine. Jasmine is studying on the third clinical program. Good morning, Jacqueline. Jasmine, sorry. Good morning, Jasmine.
Good morning.
Jacqueline is not that too, but I prefer Jasmine. Thank you for being with us. My first question will be quite simple. What's your topic of your dissertation? And if you don't mind, just introduce yourself a bit.
To introduce myself, I would just say that I'm in international business management specialty, because while you will have to choose your subject for your dissertation, you will choose it according to your specialty subject. So you will have a list of many topics, many subjects. You have to choose a big theme. For me it was international business, and from this theme you will have to choose the subject and more specifically the topic, what we call problematic. It's the issues you will problem identification, the different issues you will try to answer during all your process. As far as I'm concerned, I choose international multicultural management. The thing is that I have Shulk will explain that you will have to choose your subject first and then look for some case studies. For me it was a little bit different, because it was because of my experience that I wanted to know more about multicultural management and how can we today deal with teams that come from different cultures, different countries, especially because of globalization, and the way to make this leading power for the company and not to be, how can you say, an obstacle for it. So,
why did you make this choice?
For us, it was last year at the end of May. But I heard that it would be maybe different for next year. I don't know. They will start it later.
No, I think
on September.
September.
So it's new. I don't know about it because for us we didn't have enough time. You know, it was just like you just finish in your second year. You will have the module expert and then choose your theme and topic. So. Maybe this year it will be different and we'll have more time to think about it, but don't forget to think about it, because there is internships during the summer, there are also people who go on vacation, but you may just consider that it is very important to choose a thing that would make you work all the year without being annoyed by the theme. So
you have to make the choice so that you will be very happy. This work. Yeah, definitely.
You will live with this topic for 1 year, so you need to work on something that you enjoy actually, otherwise it will be complicated.
This dissertation process is your new friend for 1 year. What about your topic? So you told us intercultural management. Why did you choose that?
Well, I find it interesting because I do like work with many cultures. For me it's much more exciting, you learn much more things.
You also have several cultures, I think.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us something about that? Because I think it's interesting.
Well, I don't know if we can talk about several cultures, but yes, well, I am Moroccan. I've been living in Morocco for 18 years, but I'm also Spanish from my grandmother. So I do speak Spanish, Arabic, French, English, and a little bit of Italian. But yes, I do like multicultural.
For you, how the process works? Do you consider it works well? What do you think about the whole process of the dissertation? Let's be honest.
Yeah, totally. She knows me, so I think that she has chosen me today because of being honest. So to begin with, I think that, as Ms. Nzai told you, it is quite easy thanks to the e-learning platform. The thing is that for your third year, it will be everywhere, all around the world, for your specialty, for your internships. So it is really hard to go and meet your supervisor every time. So the e-learning process helps you be in contact with your supervisor easily and to have access to all the tools. As Mrs. I told you, you have the lectures, you have PowerPoints, you have everything on the platform, so it makes it really easy, honestly. But there is a little thing that is not working that well, that cost me a bad mark, but the thing is that they mixed on the platform both processes. There is the recherche mémoire process, which we are concerned, but there is also parcours d'études de cas, which is for another campus. And if you are not aware about this, you may have the wrong PowerPoints and give the wrong.
Confusing.
It's just this thing, really. It's small thing, but we decided to write to Géraldine de la Ruelle, which is in charge of the platform, and just tell her that there is that big confusion. But that's all. Honestly, you can have everything online.
Which difficulties do you have, or do you consider that all students have? Is it more in collecting data, or is it more with the website and the processors, or the conceptual analysis? Because let's be honest, it's not an easy task.
No,
It's
it's not easy, it's time-consuming, and as I told you, it is a good thing to choose a topic that you are fancy of, but it's also a way to make you maybe be disgusted from the subject, because really it is, you have to take it the right way, and as you were speaking about, the collecting data part is really important, and you have to be aware of all the tools before starting. You will have all the access to many data. From Infotech, you will have the presentation. There is too many ways to have access to data that it is really hard to choose which are the best ways. So as starters, we're just look everything, read a lot, and afterwards, and the way of also looking for data is hard. You have the specific words, what you are looking for. Everything is explained in the lectures. While you started doing it, it is a little bit time-consuming and hard, and you can be confused because you have too many scientific texts. Yeah.
That's important to mention. Yes, that's true. Because you need to know that in your dissertation you won't use articles, for example, from newspapers or from magazines. You need to use, as Yasmin said, scientific articles issued from scientific reviews, and that's very important. And I would like also to add that the dissertation is an opportunity for you to read these scientific articles, to acquire the scientific methodology. And it's not always the opportunity to give your opinion. It's not the aim, okay? It's actually to do an objective work of research and to try to test hypotheses or to explore or to understand phenomena.
You were totally right. I have to tell you also this, as being honest. 2 days ago, I was with some friends who are in Caesar here. Yeah, and they were asking about memoir, and one of them was like, "Oh, I really want my memoir to be so good, so it can help me find a good job." Then I was like, "Okay, but calm down, you're not gonna make a revolution in your memoir. It's not about this. Because first I was also excited about this. I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. We're going to look for so many things to answer new questions that are not that have not been answered yet. But it's not that. It's as it say, just research. So it's a way to answer some questions in other questions and so on. But you may keep in mind that it is research work, first of all. And it's not, it's, I think, much more different than the PhD and the other.
It's still research and PhD, but for the dissertation, as you said, is the first step of a research parcours. So for this first step, the first thing that you need is to acquire the methodology of research. That's very, very important for you guys. What is the methodology? You need to identify your problems, you need to try to solve the problems, you need to read articles, scientific articles, acquire this rigor in terms of methodology. And this is the first step. And maybe if you decide to continue, to go further, or your PhD, you might answer very exciting questions. So it will be the second step.
Yeah, so that's it's really animation in research. That's definitely that. You told about the supervisor. How do you work with him, and how is it going? Oh, well,
yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
She is my supervisor. So, well, I find it easy personally because I used to know Miss Ndahi because we had class together. So when you know him, when you already had contact with him, it's easier. Especially, well, but I think that it is easy to contact him, but it has to be, you know, your decision. You have to look for it because, however, they put that process with some livrables, so they can, you know, follow you all the year. It is a very personal work. And it is different from the other assessments because you have maybe sometimes 2, 3, 4 months between the two livres. So you will have to be self-responsible of your work and decide to work, not to put it because you have too many pages to write, too many things to look for. It's just impossible if you maybe try to do it the 2 or 3 days before the end. So, and it is the same way for the supervisor. You have to decide to go for it. You are at the end of your courses. You are.
How did that happen? Did you ask Shuru to be your supervisor?
No. It's something. It's from the administration.
Actually, the professors have a list of their research topics. So, for example, I am in marketing, I can supervise dissertations in digital marketing, international marketing. So, I actually give a list of specialties in terms of research, the topics that I am working on actually in my research activity, daily research activity. I give this list to the administration, to Géraldine de la Rupée. And then the administration will allocate actually the students according to the specialties of the professor. So I won't supervise, for example, a dissertation in finance or in accounting. It's possible.
But there is no choice.
No, there is no choice, but it sometimes it happens, but it's very rare. You have some troubles with your supervisor, you have some problems, you can. Yeah, it doesn't fit because of the supervisor or because of the students or because of the relationship, yes, both of them. You may ask the administration, there is a problem, what can you do for me? And at this moment, maybe we can switch or change.
Okay. My last question for you, Jasmine, do you feel supported in that work? Because you said it's not easy, that's true, and that's why it's interesting. Do you feel supported by the school, by the processes, by the people, by the library? How do you feel? What's your global feeling about this work?
Well, yes, I think that we do feel supported. Everything is here for helping you. The supervisors or just some teachers that you can meet just in some breaks, and they ask you about your memoir and you just start talking about it. I also maybe feel a lot supported by my family because they're just like, oh, your memoir, and just start talking. And when it is something you like to talk about it's easier.
You said you were speaking several languages.
Yeah.
In which language do you write your memoir?
I do write it in French, but you have the choice to write it either in English or in French, but depending on your specialty. For example, as I were doing the international business management, I had the choice to do it in English either in French, but I think that in some specialty you don't have the choice. You must write it in English if you do the double degree, for example, or you must write it in French for other.
The double degree is always
in English.
And the topic is different because the student choose the topic here in Poitiers. It's not related to London. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jasmine, for being with us and for this very interesting testimony.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So now we are waiting for another student. Please, Oriane, for the INCO program. Another interesting testimony. Good morning, Oriane. Welcome. Have a seat.
Good morning.
So, I will ask for probably another question, but first, what are you studying on? What's your topic of your dissertation?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Oriane Martin, and I am in fourth year in Poitiers. I made a double degree in IMCO, International Marketing and Communication. So the first
where? Just say where.
In Greenwich, and so the second semester is in Poitiers, all in English. So the first question maybe is why making a thesis in English, because it can be complicated for a French student. I didn't really have the choice, but nevertheless I decided to make a thesis in management. So even if I'm studying in marketing, you can still make a thesis in another field. And I choose the topic about the Generation Y, and I think it's really interesting because it concerns all of us as we are entering the marketplace.
Okay, because you consider that this is something that talks to this Generation Y.
Exactly. It's because during my gap year, I worked for the company Mazar. So it's a tax and consulting audit company. And this is a big group in 71 countries. They decided to make an interview of the Generation Y because they are recruiting a lot of people from schools such as LDS, for example. They wanted to know what is interesting for this generation. How can you retain these talents? Because as soon as you have made 1 or 2 years in audit, you have seen pretty much everything. So while these talents are escaping, where are they going? And this company where I was working, we made an international survey. So I had to contact many people with my contacts. As I have been in Aloha, the association, I could reach a lot of people from Australia, America, England, etc. And we succeeded. So we interviewed more than 1,000 people, and we collected data. It was about gender equality between men and women at work, but I decided to go further for my thesis. So I chose a management topic, how to explore the satisfaction of wires in France. So how are you involved in a company? Why are you satisfied or not? What can be the dimension that helps to make you stay in a company? So this is my topic, and I think it's very interesting. So I wanted to go further.
That means that your year out helps you for the choice of your topic for the dissertation.
Yes,
so
exactly.
The first step. So it started before the global process.
So when I saw that the Generation Y topic wasn't the subject proposed, because you have to choose in April, the year before you start, a good topic. I was currently working for Mazar, so I was totally making research about this subject. It was on my way, and I saw this topic, so I said yes, I'm gonna pick it. And my tutor agreed on the fact that I was studying it from the management point of view. So yeah.
So is it social sciences oriented? Is it very transdisciplinary? Because when we talk about generation, right, we think about sociology, definitely. Did you make this choice on purpose for this social sciences approach?
It's not completely on a sociological approach, like you said, but it's true that, for example, for my first part, the population I'm studying, I need to know what are the definitions, where is it coming from. So yes, you can talk it from a sociology point of view, a history point of view. What is a cohort? Why do we call it like that? And you will see that different scientists will not have the same point of view. But I'm not just talking about Generation Y. First, you also need to understand theories like organizational commitment, satisfaction at work, what is to be a good manager, for example. You have the 3 roles of the managers from Mintzberg. So I think it's very management oriented in the case of my topic. But it took me a while to understand that, as like Sheryl said, you need to make a lot of research before. For my first livrable, I got a very bad grade because I felt it was going to conferences, reading journal article online was sufficient. But actually, you have a lot of people who talked about it before you. You need to cite your source. And the main issue for people like us as French students is that in France we don't have we're not really used to cite our references. So we have to use Harvard referencing system. And in Greenwich we got a very good library system with a lot of data. Nothing compared to what I could see in France, because it's working differently. But it was very useful for me to learn that and to be academic and not just talking about the topic that I'm passionate by.
Journal, yeah.
Exactly.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's why it's valuable, and that's why it's important in this work, because it allows the students to have this another approach, which is not natural at first.
You need to acquire it. You need, and even for your job, it's very important. Mastering theories such as the management organization or all the theories that you mentioned is very important, and it enables you also to speak in a smart way about management in general. So I think it's a very good testimony, because it explains how important it is for you to work seriously on your dissertation. Yeah.
Which difficulty did you have, do you have, because it's not over for you?
What kind of difficulties? But for instance, I have to collect the data right now. So we just have 1.5 months to finish our thesis for the French students, not especially for the international ones. So I need to collect data about people who are already working, who are French. I need to select the people that fit with the conditions of my survey. So I have a lot of friends in my case, and I know a lot of people that are currently studying still. So this is the main issue I have. Otherwise, the redaction, the English style, not making misspelling mistakes, but also it's very good to make a thesis for me, but how to integrate it in my employability skills, how to make my research of a job efficient, how to link it with, for example, on my LinkedIn profile, I put it as a project, as I worked with other people on it, And I think it's very interesting for me to put that forward, to show to recruiters that, yeah, it's going to help me later. I have some management knowledge about this generation, and maybe I could be a manager of other wires when I will start to work. So thank you. Exactly. So you really need to put it on your CV, and many people don't do that. I've noticed that even in the 4th years. And I think this is what you're doing about it at the end. It's not necessarily doing it that is a problem, that is a difficulty.
So that's why it's important to try to differentiate yourself from the labor market when you're looking for a job, if you have that on your CV. An interesting topic. You have a supervisor. Who is he or who is she?
Her name is...
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Her name is Elena Issi. I think she's German. She's a research assistant in Tours, and I met her basically per mail. So the first advice I give you is that to install good contact with the person. Introduce yourself, talk about your patient. For me it was very, credible and legitimate to start with this topic. I was already able to give her some experience that I got before, so she was very pleased with that. And the main problem I had is that I was abroad. I was in Paris and I was in London. I've basically never seen her, but we Skyped. It was very useful. And finally, after a while, there is a trust that you can build. So she's giving me tips, and she is really helping me in what I'm doing. Even if she doesn't master really well the topic I choose, because you can have a tutor that will not be an expert in the field that you're choosing.
That's very important. Sometimes the professor doesn't really master your problem identification that you are aiming to solve. But the role actually of the supervisor is to help you respecting the research methodology. That's his role, to tell you, oh, you need to use scientific articles, be careful. You need to choose, for example, quantitative methodology for this subject instead of the qualitative methodology. So he will help you in terms mainly of methodology, actually.
How do you feel about this global process? Do you feel supported by school, by the people here? Do you feel alone and lonely? What's your global feel?
I have to say that if you go, for example, in my program in IMCO, we have classes related to the topic of our thesis. So we had, for instance, research methods, which concern the Europe 3 that you have to make. How do I connect my data? Which priorities do I use? Likert scale, stuff like that, statistics. And we also had another classes which was called Foundational Scholarship. So basically they teach us how to use the Harvard referencing system. I had to say that I didn't have any experiences before. I'm sure my colleagues will say the same. So we had a module at the beginning of the year that was teaching us how to do. It was very useful. So we had to make a literature review. So it was a bit doubling the work we had made for the thesis. That was really helpful. So I felt that I was really supported by the teacher of Greenwich, and in parallel, my tutor of Tours. But for the people who are making a French thesis, it's completely different, as the requirements are not the same, I think. And we put a point to be very professional and academic, because we got the English point of view, the English point of teaching. It's completely different.
It's
yeah.
Not only another language, it's much more than that. It's another approach.
And I was, just to finish, I was really surprised to see that many international students who we are working with now, they are following these requirements. And citing your source, like I said, is very important. And I'm sure that our master thesis will be pretty much different from the French one, So let's see if the requirements will change in the future with FBS, and see if we will use the international way of thinking and not just the French way.
Yeah, we are going international.
Yeah, we are going international. New and useful and definitely international. That's true for FBS Campus Poitiers and for FBS on the global group scale. My last question will be about what you're going to do afterwards. Do you want to continue to go on with studying and research, or do you want to go in labor markets?
It's a very tricky question, because
Yeah,
I think we are always learning. In my case, I would like to practice more my German, as I'm from Alsace. And so I would like to make a video in Germany, because you can work in a French or an English company, but you can be immersed in the country. So it would be a way for me to practice the language. And this is not just about research, but I'm researching a way of learning continuously. And I think for your CV you need to be a good competitor on the market, you need to improve your skills all the time. And as you see, the technologies, for instance, in marketing, it's always changing from month to month, and I will have to make research definitely all the time.
Yeah, so even if it's not the PhD or the French doctorate, you have this proactive urge of going on with learning. Thank you very much, Maria, for this interesting testimony. So now we are going to have an interesting student from Greenwich University. Please welcome. So welcome, have a seat. Thank you for being with us. Can you tell us exactly where you come from, Greenwich?
Yeah, I'm from Greenwich University. I've been studying basically all around the world. I've traveled a lot because my mom doesn't stay in one place a long time, so we've been traveling a lot, so I've studied in a lot of places. Greenwich is the only place I've stayed for a long while. So I've actually started doing my master's last semester, so September 2013. I got an acceptance from different universities to study forensic accounting, but I got an acceptance from Greenwich as well to study a dual-hour program, so I was like having 2 masters in 1 year, so it was fascinating, so I just took it.
That's great. How was it going for the dissertation process with Greenwich? Is it very different from what we have here, of course?
It's kind of completely different, not even close. Greenwich, we normally start dissertations after we finish, basically. So in France, you guys are on it. We normally start, we just do certain parts with our supervisors. We don't have, our deadlines are nearly September after we finish classes, like, so we have 4 months to write a dissertation in our free time. While with you guys, you start beforehand, so this is completely different, not even close.
So it's longer here in France?
Yeah, you guys have it longer to do in 1 year, whereas we start basically in June, May, after we finish exams.
So you didn't start yet?
We started, but it's not like going in depth. I've done basically all my literature review. I started collecting data, which is quite a headache to be exact. So it's basically one of the main problems in dissertations.
So that's one of your difficulties, collecting data?
I mean, like, for somebody who was never started writing dissertations because of the field you did as an undergrad, because I studied accounting. So in London, in accounting, it's more academic. Like, if you do accounting as an academic course, like rather than ACCA. So I haven't never thought about writing a dissertation until I started this. So it was kind of like, for me, trying to write a literature review, it's like, oh damn, what am I going to write? So it's kind of like confusing. So I have to start concentrating on all that stuff at a short period of time. But I have courses that along the way that help me in Greenwich Foundation Scholarship. research methods to check how I'm going to collect the data. But because I studied accounting, analyzing data was never a difficulty for me. So if I get the data, I can analyze it. But yeah, for everything was a bit fresh for me.
And you had a supervisor too, as here in Pretty Campus?
Yes. No, I don't have a supervisor in Forte campus.
Okay, but you have one in Greenwich?
Yeah, I have one in Greenwich, yeah.
Okay. How do you work with him? Or with her?
It's her name is Patricia. So we've been working through emails. I've met her twice. So we are kind of on a collision course between her, because she wants me to choose a topic when we expect him that I don't want to choose because I'm not interested in it. So I chose my own course. I went for online banking because I got a lot of interest in online banking and I saw a lot of passion in it. So she didn't want me to start with online banking, but I ended up winning that vote, so I chose online banking. But we are going on with it, tracking ahead.
So you work through email, you said?
Yeah, email. Yeah.
Do you Skype, like Royal said?
No.
No,
I've never Skyped, but I'm going back in London in May, so I'm going to meet her for one more time. Then it's going to be back to emails.
So even though we are not very close, we can work with a supervisor through email suspense. And that's something that might be very valuable for us to know, because as students, when we didn't start, we don't know exactly how we can work with the supervisor, if you work for the semester abroad or in another country. So this is something that might help you, the fact that your supervisor is using emails.
I mean, you need a supervisor in the first place. Without a supervisor, you are like, because you're new in it. If you don't have a supervisor, you're going to go ahead. The supervisor might be the one who has the knowledge to help you go forward. The supervisor wouldn't write your paper for you. That's completely out of question. Will only assist you in the mistakes you do and lead you to the right way. The supervisor is not going to collect data for you. He's just going to tell you this is a good idea to collect data from. So if the supervisor starts helping you, that's completely out of character. So your work is not basically yourself. So it's not like accountants. Accountants will normally say true and fair play. So it's not your own work. So supervisors generally have to help. They have to be there to assist you in your work. You need it. If you don't have it, then if you get a good grade, then probably you're a genius. But I'm not sure you're going to get that without a supervisor.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel as far as the global process is concerned? Do you feel very supported in Greenwich and why not on campus?
It's still the same, kind of like the different atmosphere. Because in Poitiers we do a lot of practical work in terms of, we do a lot of research basically. I think all my courses have been in Poitiers. I've been researching a lot, writing a lot of reports, doing a lot of presentations. In Greenwich it's much more like academia. Teacher comes, teaches you, leads, you have more individual time to learn. But in Poitiers everything you do is in class. You get all the information, all the data. In Greenwich you don't get all the information, all the data. Some of the data you have to get it for yourself. So like in terms of the education style as well, in Poitiers I have my classes and I have my exams. So right now at the same time, when in Greenwich I have my exams in May, January, like at the end of the semesters. So it was kind of like a different for me, but at the same time it added value to the different international varieties. You go through different areas, so you understand different cultures and everything. So it was alright.
And through this process, do you feel like going on with research afterwards? As a doctorate student or PhD student?
Yeah, if I'm offered Mohammed's job, I'll do my doctorate.
Yes,
Yeah. If I get his job, I'll do it.
Okay. In which language do you write your...
English.
In English? Yeah. It's a choice you made, or...?
No, you only have to write in English when you're in England, so it's kind of like the same point. Yeah, it was easy choice. It was always going to be English. So I don't think people in London that study different languages.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this very interesting testimony. I will ask you to conclude and say the last word about that. We saw that it's it's not an easy task, but it's a very intellectual, motivating task.
Yeah.
For sure, your last word.
Yeah, so first I would like to thank
you very much.
all the students for their testimonies, because it's very important for you guys to have the experience from the point of view of students, because it's different when professors or supervisors talk about the dissertation. It remains, not very clear for you, but when students talk about this topic, it's clear for you. So it's very interesting because we can see that the importance of this exercise for you, for your career, the methodology, the knowledge that you acquire during this process. And we can also see the role of the supervisor, as our students from Greenwich say. The supervisor won't do the dissertation for you. He will guide you, actually. He will help you. He will give you recommendations in terms of methodology. He will explain you how we write a dissertation report, a research report, but he won't write it for you. This is very important to know. And he won't also correct every version of your work, because this time he will correct his own or her own work. So it's very important for you guys to know that it's you who are going to do the dissertation, and it's a very important and interesting and sometimes, according to the subject, exciting exercise for you. So, and don't hesitate also to contact yourself, the supervisor. It's his role, he is here for that, to support you, to help you. And we will talk, I think, later on about the support that the library offers, and to give you the desire or the energy to work on your dissertations. We will have the 3 presentations of our 3 professors about hot topics in different disciplines. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Hurricanes are responsible for the research in 20 campuses at LPS, and we talk and go on with talking about research with professors and teachers and hot topic just after a small break. Thank you very much for all of you.